Hi, the Brisbane Broncos are 10-7 after their fifth straight win, taking down the Titans 26-14, heading into the bye, fifth on the ladder with a top four in sight, and it doesn't matter how you win them. You can win them hot, you can win them ugly, you just need to win. But this was an ugly game. 13 errors by the Titans, 16 by the Broncos, 20 combined by halftime alone. But you know what? Who's supposed to play good rugby league at 6:15 on a Sunday? That's not time for rugby league. That's not time for good rugby league. That's Sunday scaries time. And both teams had the Sunday scaries, which wasn't helped by the Titans swapping the regular 6 again ding for the Microsoft Teams notification sound. But the Broncos didn't play great, mostly from errors. They also bombed a few tries. The Titans had a few try-saving efforts themselves, but it was a game that took probably more effort to win than they expected to expend. This being the first time the best version of the Spine is playing together, if 26 points is the floor, I'm okay with that, even if a game like that isn't beating too many teams. I think the Titans played pretty well in patches. There's plenty of talent in that team. Brinson was always dangerous with the ball. Tino was great while he was on. I really liked the combination between Jaden Campbell and Chris Randall. They defended well most of the game. It was good to see Fafita brackets big out there. A lot of good scramble D, and they save potential tries by Sheba twice, Ricky and Walsh. They also get let off when Piakura maintains possession but not control over the ball and puts it down, then his head into the dirt. Bad knock for Mr. Bring the Boom, and Gravity remains undefeated. But the Titans were also their own worst enemy. They had fewer errors than the Broncos, but they all felt like they occurred at the worst possible time. Anytime they had a good few sets and were building momentum, they just hand the ball back to the Broncos. A couple errors on tackle 1, bringing the ball back, others where they're about to make a break but for the error. The Ferrells completely bombs a try by dropping it, or they make a break and Philip Sami isn't there. Familiar feeling for Titans fans. You can see it all in the Gashevsky try. Look at me making a point about the Titans via the Broncos. But the Titans have the ball down the Broncos' end for the first set after points because Ricky has dropped one cold, and they go for it on tackle 2. Tino makes a great run and engages the line, then Foran goes deeper and everyone is cooked. Reynolds, Ricky and Hunt are all basically out of the play, so Mariner has to come in and jam Kelly and make a play. And if Kelly can get the pass away here, it's 4 points. Really great recovery though by Kotoni, and him and Mariner force the error. Then Kotoni's right onto the ball and away. Credit to the Titans chasers for chasing Kotoni, especially for feeder brackets fast, who comes from the other side of the field, and one tackle later, Gashevsky's telling us that's gold. It's a funny old game, rugby league. One good tackle takes it from a tie game to me feeling a bit bad for the Titans, who in the space of seconds went from very nearly taking advantage of an opportunity handed to them by the Bronx to having a bloke stroll over under the posts. And all errors are bad, but some errors are more bad than others. It's really just about the consequences of them. The Broncos committed a few in attack that you'd like back. Walsh threw a forward pass to Ricky early in the game that blew up a set play. The ball that Kotoni put down at the end of the first half, which is a bit like, hey dude, catch the ball. I also don't really care about seeing them have an on-field spray. I'd prefer that to anything else. I also very much enjoyed seeing Carrigan assembling the team for an on-field huddle heading into the half because leading was not good enough. They did have a disappointing first 40 minutes where a couple of those bad habits started rearing their head. They have a few good chances at scoring, but the Titans turn them back. They're denied a try by the bunker, and now it's time to start going for it on tackle 3, kicking the ball dead and giving away dumb penalties. What was surprising in that period where they let the Titans back in the game was how poor Reynolds was in that time, and he got a handle on it pretty quickly, throwing the beautiful flat ball to Ben Tolte for the first try of his career in his second game. Tolte actually had a really good game in this one. He ends up playing 33 minutes, runs 111 meters with 4 tackle busts and makes 20 tackles himself. He ended up finishing out the game for them when Carrigan had done his minutes. And I mean, you pluck a guy out of reserve grade, and in his second game, he's giving you good minutes and a try, replacing 2 Origin players and closing the game out. Did Broncos recruitment suddenly get good? Tell me someone's making Cameron Bukowski pay for his own Ubers from Red Hill or something. Don't let me get my hopes up. In Haas's absence, it was another week for the bench to step up, and Hetherington and Willison were both great again. They gave them probably everything that you'd want. Kobe's been putting together a really nice stretch recently, while Willison was slightly down from last week's absolutely monster performance. Then Tolte is such a bonus. Great game by the forwards. Numbers-wise, though, it's hard to go past Ricky and Staggs. Ricky ran for 134 meters, led the team in tackles with 37. Then Kotoni runs for 236 meters, broke 5 tackles, including one where he gets through 3 different guys, had a line break and a try assist. Great defense as always. Huge Kotoni game. The Broncos were definitely focused on attacking with their right side in this game, which I think is partly because they had an advantage against Sami and Kelly, but more that they need to find points on that edge that come more in the flow of attack and don't always need to be self-created. Because Kotoni gets a lot of ball where they've been pushed to the right, not found much, and it's gone a bit stagnant. So it's a case of, here guy, please make a play. And very often he'll get the ball like that and make a tackle break or 2 and then give them something to play off. But there's not been a whole lot of structure on that side of the field recently. It's been a lot of short side players, Reynolds kicking to the corner, or Ricky taking one up so that they can set up a Haas run and move everything to the left, with the threat of Kotoni always looming. But they haven't run a distinct right side play in this streak since the first Titans game, which turned into Walsh's second try. And they do set up left and get Walsh going all the time, and that's been great. They've scored a whole bunch of tries out of structure on that side this season, but eventually everyone's going to know what they're going to do and find ways to stop it. And we've already seen this season what happens when this team runs out of options on attack. So they're going to need to develop something to expand the playbook, and particularly something going right other than Kotoni Staggs, I believe in you. And maybe that's just Walsh split action on the right side instead, and he finds Arthurs. Just get some reps in on the other side of the field. I don't really mind. Also in this game, Piakura was HIA'd and had to be replaced with Krzyzewski, who's very capable in that role but doesn't have that same speed to punch through the line as BP. And also, Ezra's big pass to Karapani wasn't quite dialed in. They actually called one forward this week. All the rest have been backwards out of their hands. Add in some really great defense on the line by Fafita brackets Fast, and if it wasn't an intentional right side shift, there was definitely reasons to go that way. But I'm excited to see them push it, and against the Titans is a good time to do it. And I'm just in favour generally of Kotoni getting more clean ball with room to move, so he potentially dropped that ball from Walsh out of surprise. Of course, they score the Walsh try on that side of the field. It's a typical Walsh try. He takes a high ball and gets smashed, gets up limping and stays back for one tackle, then gets back into the line, barks for the ball because he sees the gap, picks it, backs up after Kotoni gives Sami a big don't argue, then gives De Groot a bit of the same and finishes it with a backflip, all within seconds of looking like he might never play the sport again. The duality of Walsh. Walsh in full flight is one of the 7 wonders of rugby league, and the camera doesn't do it justice. This is also the Ben Hunt return game, and this streak has given them the luxury of not needing to bring Hunt back too soon, and while there was the smallest bit of rust on Benny, it rubbed off pretty quickly. He looked great. Very happy to have him back out there, and it will all look better again with Haas back after the bye. One thing they'll need to manage is how they close, because I'm bearing the lead here. Billy Walters comes on and changes another game and scores again. And for want of a better nickname, I'm adopting for the time being the one that Ben Dobbin gave him on Kevy's podcast, The Difference. Man, those Billy Walters haters must be in shambles right now. And speaking of the chair of the Hater Society, it's time to take an L and just wrap this dude for playing some incredible football. Every time he's come on as number 14, he has actually been the difference. He just kicks the game into another gear in the last 20, 30 minutes. And for a team that has had trouble closing out games and run out of puff a bunch of times in the second halves, Billy has helped kickstart the comeback against the Sharks, scored a key try against the Bulldogs without which they don't win that game, and now puts this one beyond doubt when he comes off the bench. And when you look at the wide shot, they're set up left and right. Billy looks left, dummies right to Ezra, which fools everyone, and he makes it through more or less untouched. He's always had the confidence to take those kinds of runs and chance it, but sometimes maybe too much confidence. He's been picking his moments really well these last few weeks, and his service has been otherwise terrific. And when he's coming on after the Titans have had to spend 60 minutes tackling Kotoni, and Walsh has been lingering all night, and there's threats all over the park building up throughout the game, sometimes fresh legs, a dummy, and a dream are all you need. Genuinely, Walters probably has the most ticker on this team. A little nugget about Billy, and I think I might have the scoop on this one. I haven't seen or heard anyone else talking about it. You'll notice both his hands are taped up, but his right hand has quite a lot of tape on it. Part of it, I think maybe a finger or a knuckle is actually broken, and functioning hands is something which I'd imagine is pretty important for a rake. He's been banged up for a while now, and he's still playing on it, so credit to him. I'm backing The Difference and trying to think of a better nickname, and I think that this 14 role is absolutely perfect for him. Raises the question what they do with Ben Hunt at the end of games. If they bring him in as a lock for the last 15 minutes and Carrigan goes into prop, I could stomach that, but it's a question for future games. A quick note on Carrigan and Shibasaki, both backing up after huge games in State of Origin. They were both great. Shibasaki with a try saver at the end. I don't want to reduce my enthusiasm for Shiba, but I've done a whole bunch of Shiba stuff lately, so here's a weird stat instead. Carrigan leads the league in ruck infringements with 10. Do I care? No. Heading into the bye, when fishermen can't go to sea, they mend their nets. It's an extra week for Haas to get some rest. He's pretty banged up with his back and his legs and so on. Arthurs is expected to recover from his rib injury during the week. There's also a chance that Jensen could be back pretty soon after the bye, which would help, but DVT is scary, so it might be longer. And the rest of the boys are off playing golf, and they've earned it. I played last Wednesday on the morning of Origin and just made up a 4 with my dad and 2 guys he kind of knew. And one bloke said, unprompted in the middle of my backswing on 3, "What did Andrew Johns do to become an immortal?" And then I completely shanked the shot, but we immediately bonded. And if anyone finds a yellow tailor-made number 3, I would like that back. That was a good ball. I couldn't think of another way to bring that up. What am I doing during the bye week? A couple ideas, maybe I'll do something. Recurring segments, ticker/gutless index, teams flying, baby, and I'm in a good mood and willing to forgive, so I don't think that I'd put the knock on anyone, and any players that made bad errors or gave away stupid penalties in this game made up for it elsewhere on the park. 3-2-1 for best on ground. Kotoni Staggs must receive 3 points. Then you could probably split hairs between Walsh and Walters for who played better, but I think I'm putting ticker over talent this week and giving Walters 2 points and Walsh 1. That still leaves Payne Haas 10 points ahead of the rest of the team for the inaugural whatever award I try and give the winner, and he hasn't even played for 2 weeks. Alright, enjoy the bye. Maybe see a movie this weekend. I hear the new Superman is good. Materialist isn't, but enjoy yourself. Bye.